What's going on, baby? What's up? How you all doing? I'm fired up after that Aaron Nola win, man. Great job by Aaron Nola. Great job by the Phillies. They just continue to rack up wins like it's nothing. And they're doing it against these opponents in so many different ways. And they're not just beating you with just one facet of a type of game. They're hitting the ball well one game. They may not be hitting the ball well the next game. And then they just give you lights out performances on the mound. And they're doing what they can on the pitching side. Sometimes the bullpen comes in and does their job. They're finding ways to win, and they are hot. They are the hottest team in baseball, along with the Dodgers, and they just continue to rack up these wins, and they win 30 games in their first 43 games. That's awesome. That is not a fluke. That is not something that is just unexpected. They did that. They did that, and they've been playing very good, solid, fundamental baseball. And even while other things aren't going so well for them in certain aspects of the game, other players and other types of teammates are picking them up. And I love that about this team. Before I go any further, okay, I just want to remind you guys to make sure that you come onto the Discord server because I am going to start the event very soon. I just have a lot that I want to say first, and then I want to get you guys to come on and give your thoughts. We're going to try to come on after every single series that the Phillies play against whoever their opponent is, and I want to get you guys on the phones. I want to get more fan interaction going on here because this team has been so much fun to watch, and they're just taking care of business like it's nothing. So please join the Discord server down below. It's in the live chat right now. And then I will get to your chats as well in just a few moments. Shout out to each and every one of you for being here. Thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel today. For those of you that did that, we're at 2,300, man, and we are just growing this community like it is a volcano, man. We are just doing such a good job at trying to get more people involved with the play-by-play with JJ community, with the Phillies, the Sixers, and the Eagles content. We're grinding like it's our life, man, and it's been a lot of fun. So just keep up to date with all the exciting stuff that we have on here. And now I want to talk about this series because, let's be honest, last night, Christopher Sanchez did not have his best stuff. In that third inning, though, okay, I talked about this with Larry last night. Sanchez is in a jam. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gives up an RBI walk to JD Martinez. Rob has to have somebody warming up in the bullpen before that happens. And I criticize Rob for that because you don't want to just put in a pitcher under that pressure and have him come in too soon. What I will give Rob credit for is that he let Christopher Sanchez pitch out of that jam. He did. And I give him credit because here's why. In years past, like last year, for example, he's pitching a no-hitter. He has 83 pitches, and Rob decides to pull him out of the game. It's not like he was just, it's not like his pitch count was high. He pulled him, right? Same thing during the playoffs last year in Game 4 of the NLCS. He pulled Christopher Sanchez, if you remember that. And that was when the whole series changed. He said in that third inning, I want this guy to figure it out. I'm going to leave him in. I trust him. And that's where the positive things that Rob Thompson does come into play. That's where I like it when in situations like that where he says, I trust you and you can get out of this and I believe in you. It worked that time. And Christopher Sanchez, to his credit, struck out the side with the bases loaded. And he pitched really well from there. So that's a really good thing that Christopher Sanchez was able to do. Good for him for doing that because he was really good after that. He really was. And to those people that were saying in the chat, this is why Christopher Sanchez shouldn't even be in the starting rotation. This guy is a fourth starter. He's a fourth, fifth guy. And yet he got out of that jam. And he was pitching so well for the Phillies. Anybody would take them or would take Christopher Sanchez as a 2 or a 3 right now because he's been that good. So I just wanted to make sure that I gave credit to Christopher Sanchez because I don't think he's going to really get a lot of love in regards to last night's game against the Mets because he kept them involved. And when you have bases loaded, nobody out in that third inning, and you walk in a run, your confidence should probably go down the gutter. You see somebody warming up in the bullpen, but no, he strikes out the side, gets Alonso to chase after a really bad pitch, and he was phenomenal. For that type of situation, that could have gotten so ugly. And all we asked was him to keep the Phillies within striking distance. And he did that. The bullpen, I thought, looked really good last night as well. And then the ninth inning comes. All I hear is trumpets. All I hear is trumpets, man. Just from Edwin Diaz, because that's his walkout song. And man, oh man, did I love it when the Phillies were able to come back and tie that game. Stott gets a low pitch that's inside in the ninth inning and just gulps it out to right field. It's a solo shot, and now all of a sudden Diaz is like, wow. Even Kyle Schwarber's reaction to that swing was like, oh my gosh, wow. He gulped. Just seeing that reaction was beautiful. And then the Phillies are down to their final strike. Alec Bohm's up to bat. Bohm got hit by a pitch. 0-2 count. Gets hit, right? Did Whit Merrifield go on that 3-1 pitch? Yes, he did. But there have been so many times where those calls have not even gone in our favor. Okay? Great job by Bohm yesterday. Good job by the Phillies hitters. Brandon Marsh, I thought, did a really good job at certain points of the game. Garrett Stubbs with the RBI bunt. That was really cool to get the Phillies on the board. Honestly, I really thought that the Phillies didn't even deserve to win yesterday's game, but they were able to pull out those heroics in that ninth inning. Part of it was because Bryson Stott set that tempo. And then Stott, later on, in the 10th inning, gets a sac fly to give the Phillies a 5-4 lead, and he also made the catch to end the game. He has balls, man. He reminds me a lot of Tyrese Maxey because he's a young kid and he's not afraid of the bright lights. He has shown that now year in and year out, and the Phillies need to pay him the max dollars. This kid is special, and we all knew that he was going to be a really good ball player, but he is showing everybody in baseball that he is special. And when he needs to come through with a base hit, the Phillies have a lot of guys that they can rely on in the clutch. And Stott is just one of those guys. Best two-strike hitter in baseball and does a very good job defensively, too. He's very versatile. So I got to give him his flowers as well. Rob, I got to give him his flowers in regards to last night, too, because not only did he leave Christopher Sanchez in there to pitch and get out of that jam, which was nice to see, some maturity in that type of way, and that's going to boost Christopher Sanchez's confidence. But the other thing that I really liked that he did was he put Cody Clemens up at the plate in place of Edmundo Sosa. With all due respect, Edmundo Sosa was doing really good last night. But Cody Clemens, lefty on a righty, you got to go to Cody Clemens because he has pop in the bat. Clemens gets on with a single. Rob Thompson wins that battle. Brandon Marsh works on with a walk. Kyle Schwarber then pinch hits, and you need to put him in that spot because he's a guy that can walk, and he's also a guy that hits for a lot of power, and I want one of my best power hitters up at the plate in that situation. Unfortunately, Schwarber didn't execute, but then Whit Merrifield comes through, gets on with a walk, Bohm gets hit by a pitch, and then what he does in the top of the 10th, or in the bottom of the 9th, is he puts Cody Clemens at second base, and Clemens makes this heroic catch. Because if Lindor gets on base and gets a single, that changes the whole entire bottom of the 9th inning for Orion Kerkrink. He gets on with a single there. It was a rocket that was hit over just a little bit over his head, but Clemens was able to snag it and make a leaping catch. Lindor gets on base. He's fast. So he's probably going to try to swipe second, try to distract Orion Kerkrink, and you have Pete Alonso up at the plate. That they could have lost the game from that. But Orion also pitched really well. It was nice to put him in that spot. And then they put Pache out in center, Stott's over at shortstop. But all this is because of Rob Thompson. Like, yes, the players executed, but Rob, I thought, won them the game last night. I really did. I thought that he did a really good job. And while Stott was excellent and Sosa was able to execute and Stubbs did a really good job as well last night and even today, good stuff, man. Really, really good stuff. I want to talk about today, but the last thing I did want to say about last night, not a lot of people talk about this, and I thought that Mike Green did a good job of bringing this up. I know that Christopher Sanchez was getting a lot of heat, but you have to think about like the personnel that you're working with. You're not really working with Garrett Stubbs in a lot of these types of situations. Your catcher has been JT Realmuto. So to get that experience and be able to get out of a jam with Garrett Stubbs catching is awesome, because God forbid in the playoffs, if JT is hurt and Garrett Stubbs has to be your catcher, you got to work on your communication skills somehow, some way. And this is the time where you leave him in that spot to try to figure out how do we deal with this. Because communicating signs and that type of stuff, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal when it comes to baseball. And it's sort of like something that just doesn't get talked about that much. So I also kind of want to give Garrett Stubbs a lot of flowers, and Christopher Sanchez his flowers too, for being able to communicate and get out of that jam, because they were on the same page and they locked in. They did. So, good stuff. Today was all about Mr. Nola-tastic. I have to admit, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the people that believe in jinxes and that type of stuff. Did I jinx Nola? I guess I did. But he was phenomenal. 5 perfect innings, and then that knuckle curve, man, was that filthy. The first time he threw it, I was like, man, this thing has a lot of deadly movement to it. And then you add that in with the fastball that he was able to paint on those outside corners. Boy, oh boy, was that beautiful to watch. He was on the money today and had his best outing of the season. He was fantastic. He was sensational. That was a Cy Young worthy Aaron Nola performance that he put on full display at Citi Field. And I couldn't have asked for anything more. He was spectacular. And even when he got into a little bit of a jam at times later on in the game, he battled through the adversity and was not able, or he didn't panic, right? He's still pitching his game. He still is in control of the types of pitches that he's throwing. But man, just the velocity and the wicked movement on that knuckle curve, hitters are thinking in the box that it's going to be, if it's a pitch that's outside, it's going to go like right down the middle, but then it just dips and just has that oomph that, and all of a sudden it slides out of the zone, and you're thinking like, man, this is disappearing. And I said a couple of times today like that curveball disappeared like it was a magic trick. That's how it was, man. He was a magician out there on the mound today, and Garrett Stubbs called a very good game, and Nola did fantastic out there on the mound. I got a little bit annoyed with Kyle Schwarber's base running mistakes in that 7th inning. I know that this team was leaving a lot of runners in scoring position, and I'll kind of get a little bit more into that as well. Those things bothered me. But in totality, I just love how this team is finding ways to come out on top. And it's not just about the big bats. It's not just about the Kyle Schwarbers. It's not just the JT Realmutos. Even when JT was playing, obviously not in this series, but it's not about the big names. The Bohms and the bottom of the order guys, the Rojas's, the Brandon Marshes of the world, those are the guys that are stepping up to the occasion. And it's like, well, Trey Turner goes down. In years past, we would have panicked. Next game, they score 10 runs, and yet they're still winning games without Trey. I'm not saying that they're better without Trey. I'm not saying that at all whatsoever. But they are finding ways to actually come out on top. And it's not just the bats. It's not just the speed on the bases. Yes, they play small ball at times. They're not just a long ball team anymore. This team has a lot of dimensions to them. They are deep, and they are just grinding you down. Sort of kind of like what the Eagles were doing early on last year. I felt like that at some points. Did they get a little bit lucky? Maybe. But I also thought that they were just mentally trying to get Jalen Hurts into the fourth quarter. And when the money drive came, Hurts produced. And they found a way to win. That's how it was during those first 7 to 8 weeks. And even further, I guess, for the Eagles. They were doing really good in that department. But that sort of kind of reminds me of the team that the Phillies have right now, because they're just finding ways to win. Eventually, you want to see the bats start to click, for sure. And I think that they will. They have produced games this year where they have scored a lot of runs. Hasn't been consistent, but the starting rotation has been outstanding. The bullpen has definitely come up clutch now in a lot more situations. I think Sir Anthony Dominguez is getting better. Gregory Soto is the only concern I have in the bullpen right now. Do I expect him to do better? I do. I also think Alvarado's starting to come around a little bit more, and I like how he's not throwing 100. He's not throwing 101 just yet. I think that he's building that up, and he's sort of picking his spots on when to throw the heater. Last night he finally reached the triple digits, which was nice. But you know, when you're constantly throwing 100, you gotta condition your arm. You gotta make sure that you're conditioning your arm in the best sort of spot. You know, so yeah, those are my thoughts. I'm very proud of this team, finding ways to win and doing it in different types of situations. This team today just had they had 2 hits with runners in scoring position, but one of them was just on a single that didn't even get the runner home in the 9th inning. But then Phillies were able to have Bryson Stott come through, and he had the RBI single. And Alec Bohm, of course, had the RBI double. So this team still struggles with runners in scoring position. I think that they'll get better at that, but it's just funny to me how they're finding ways to just come out on top. And last night, they were dead. Like, they didn't really have any sort of life to them, and then all of a sudden, Bryson Stott turns the light switch on, and Brandon Marsh is putting up these long at-bats, and they just become a different team. You know? Alvarado came in to the 10th of last night's game, and I was happy that Rob made that move. I thought that was the right move, and Alvarado got out of it. Bohm made a really nice play over at third. Played over at first today, too, by the way. I'm concerned about Bryce. I can't lie. I definitely am worried about how Bryce is doing. I know that he sat today because he had a migraine, but I don't think something's right. I know that people in the chat have brought it up before, but now I'm starting to see, okay, there's something that's not right. When he strikes out with the bases loaded last night, and when he slams the helmet down, you know something is wrong. I think he'll snap out of it, but I'm just praying that it's not an injury that the Phillies medical staff is trying to sugarcoat or just sweep under the carpet, if you will. You know, because that has been a problem in years past, not just for the Phillies, but throughout Philadelphia sports. So I'm monitoring that. JT, Rob Thompson did say at the end of the game today that he should be available for tomorrow night's game. Today, he tried to take some ground ball, he tried to take some pitches, and he was squatting. He wasn't in the gear or anything, but he said he grimaced a little bit, and I was sort of like, wow, yeah, he's probably not going to play today. But to Stubbs' credit, he's playing really well. He's doing good. He's doing really good. And I think he's better defensively than JT is. I think that JT has the cannon and is better at framing pitches, but Garrett Stubbs is pretty nice. He's pretty solid, man. And I like what he brings to the clubhouse, too. I think that he brings a lot of goofiness to the clubhouse, and they vibe off of that. You know, he's like one of those vibe types of guys that the Phillies have, and I like that about him as well. What else? What else do I want to talk about? That's pretty much it. I think that guys have really stepped up, and they have that next man up mentality. And Rob is pushing the right buttons now, for the most part. I can get a little bit nitpicky at times. I can say that, they're not scoring with runners in scoring position. All I care about is the 30 wins. 30 wins in 43 games. That's what makes me happy. And they're not just doing it one-dimensionally. They're finding ways. They're grinding these hitters down, and they're trying to They're trying to win the mental battle. That's really what it is. And they're doing it. So, all right. I want to get to your thoughts. We have 15 people on here. I'm going to open up the chat for you guys, and we're also going to start the event as well. So please come on in if you guys want to tune in to, or if you guys have thoughts that you want to give about this game. We're talking about the Phillies, nothing else but the Phillies. So we're going to start the event now, okay? We just started it. Click on this link down below if you haven't done so already. You should see on here that I am with the Talk with JJ category, and if you go to live call, you should be able to tune in. But yes, here is the link. We're posting that right now, and I'm going to highlight it right on over here if it comes up. I don't think it will, so that's great. But yeah, all right. What do people have to say in the comments? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Phillies-Yankees win. Phillies-Yankees World Series. If he has knee soreness, that's not good for JT. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's eventually gonna come back. I know that I know that the wear and tear is coming, but I don't think that he is a guy that's just gonna go on the injured list. I think that he should be back pretty soon. Give out Bohm credit, man, because you get hit with a 98-mile-per-hour pitch on that left hand. First, I was a little bit scared, internally speaking. I was happy that they tied the game. But part of me, and I'm happy that I went back to this, was like, yeah, the trainers are out there. Like, for the moment, we can talk about, like, the RBI hit by pitch. But then, like, let's go back to how he's actually doing. Because it's like, great, they tied the game, but Bohm, are you okay? Because he's been the best player on the team this year. So, what else? Nola was great. Nola was awesome. Nola Cy Young worthy. Phillies are going to win 112 games this year. Do we have any takes in the chat? Not a crow, but this will do. Said last week against the Miami, he looked like he hurt himself on that one at-bat. Yep. Yeah, you did say that. You did say that. Again, please join the Discord server. I want to get you guys to come on here. You know, I want to get your thoughts. I really do. Like, please come on and please give me your thoughts about how this team is rolling, because this team is playing really good baseball. And I think that there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, and I really want to engage with you guys. If you guys don't know how to, like, work the Discord, please, like, let me know. I will actually walk you through how to do this, because, look, we're young, and we are still growing as a channel, you know? So, and this is sort of new to a lot of you guys, because some of you guys don't know. So, yeah. Hi, what's going on? How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good, my guy. Yeah, join the Discord server. Join the Discord server for sure. And we'll get you guys to come on and talk and give your opinions. If you guys have any questions about, like, how the Discord works, please let me know in the chat. And I'll help you out. I seriously will. We'll be on here for not too long, but we'll be on here for just a little bit of time. If you click on this link that I just posted down below, there we go. If you click on this link that I just posted down below, you can just click on that little link there, and it should take you to the actual event itself, and you should be able to come on in. And then what I'll do is I'll allow you to come on, and then you just have to click the accept button once your hand is raised, and then I should be able to get you to come on. So yeah, that's what we do, man. I want us to get more and more people on here and just come on and talk, because this team is fun. This team is doing a very good job. I think that one thing that we don't really talk about is what I actually really like about this team is that even if they screw up, they have each other's backs. They have done such a good job at picking each other up, and that means a lot. You know what that means to me? That means that they are hungry. That means that that they have something else to them that seems to be a little bit different this year. I'm not telling you that they're going to win the World Series or that they're even going to go to the World Series, but what I am saying is that in years past, they got off to such a slow start, even when they did not beat the best teams in the world. Aaron Nola, last year, his problem was delivering from the stretch, and we had no idea what he was going to look like in the postseason because it continued for so long. Trey Turner was so cold. Nick Castellanos at the very beginning of the season was absolutely on fire. But the team just had these really, really weird stretches, and they just weren't able to put up a lot of wins in that win column. So this year, the expectations to me, seriously, are to win the division and go to the World Series. And I think that they have the makeup this year. I know that we'll talk about the trade deadline down the road. As of now, I'm telling you, if they make a move, it needs to be just for a closer, maybe just one more arm in the bullpen. That's it. I really don't think that they should make any moves. I like the team where they are right now. They are stacked from top to bottom in almost every single category. And yeah, you can always try to find ways to be a little bit better. But if you go for a guy like Jazz Chisholm Jr. or Mike Trout, I'm not saying that they are going to go for those guys, but then you have another star that you have to implement into this lineup, and you're messing with the culture, and I don't want that to happen. They're vibing right now. They're winning games. They're good as they are. They really are. So they don't really need another superstar type of a player in this lineup because I think anybody would take Johan Rojas as a 9-hole hitter. I think he's doing a really good job, and not a lot of people are giving him credit. So that's where I stand. I know that the bullpen started off a little bit shaky earlier in the year, but I think that they're starting to get things going. I felt bad for Junior Marte because he went on the injured list, and he was pitching really, really well. But I like the makeup of this team. I like the foundation, and I don't think that they need to make a big splash. If they do, it just needs to be for a closer. If they could somehow, I'm not saying that the Cleveland Guardians are going to struggle, but if they do, maybe Emmanuel Clase is on the block, or maybe David Bednar's on the block for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I wouldn't mind going for those guys. I think that they could help out the bullpen, and they would be great. But that's all that I ask. God forbid if there's another injury, then we have a different conversation. But with the way that this team is right now, I'm not fixing anything. I'm not playing around with fire. I'm not doing anything. I'm letting this thing gel because they have the makeup. Trade for that kid in Oakland, but the price may be very high. I don't know what that kid in Oakland is, my guy. You got to be more specific than that. So, but I'm not trading. I'm really not going to trade for anybody unless it's a bullpen piece or a closer. So, problem is that they believe in the bullpen by committee, and that's Rob. Well, but see, I actually agree with it to an extent because let's just say that there's a lot of lefties coming up to bat. Alvarado should be in there because Alvarado isn't a bad option, A. Yes, he's a lefty on lefty, and that's the matchup that you want, and I get it from an analytical perspective because then the hitter doesn't, you can't really see what type of pitch you're going to throw and that type of a thing. But I do feel like that this bullpen is good enough. Like they may have cold stretches at times, but I do feel like that they have the personnel and they have really good talent. Hoffman is their best reliever, and that's not a discredit to him. That's a compliment to him. Alvarado's starting to come around, and he's eventually going to start firing 100 again. He showed flashes of it the last time he pitched. I think that he's working on his stamina. I do believe that Sir Anthony is going to continue to get better. I have a lot of faith. I really do. They could use maybe one more arm to booster up that bullpen. God forbid if somebody is really pitching bad like Gregory Soto right now. Soto is not even good for like middle relief. He is really, really struggling. Matt Strahm has been pitching a lot better. I think that if you go with one more piece in the bullpen, that should be the only piece. This team has 30 wins. They're 30-13. So what if the offense doesn't look so complete at times? They're winning games, and they're finding ways to come out on top. That's a winning culture, and I want that on my team. I don't care who's on this roster. Christian Pache has stepped up at times. Yohan Rojas has stepped up at times. They have some sort of magic in them this year, and I do not want to mix that chemistry. You know what I mean? Get Kimbrel from the O's. Joking. Please, guys, come on. Come on over here. Come talk with me, man. Come talk to me. Come chat with me. Join the Discord server. That's all you got to do, man. Just join the link. I'll literally walk you through how to do it. Like, you don't have to feel embarrassed. I really want to get people to talk to. You know what I mean? I think that that'd be so cool. I want to start getting guests. Just click on that link. Y'all are chatty in the chat. Come chat with me on here. What hasn't hit? More like a whiz without a hat. Man. Mason Miller. Okay. Yeah, you want to look at Mason Miller's stats real quickly? Okay, we could do that. Let's look at Mason Miller's stats while we're over here. Okay, let's move me over a little bit to the right. And what we'll do is we'll create a window capture of that. Do I have a window capture right now? No, I do not. I don't have a window capture. All right, let's create a window capture then. Let's do that now. Okay, now we got to make this smaller. The smallest you can think of. All right, we'll do that. And then we'll look at his stats. We'll pull that up right now. All right. Doing this on the spot. Love it. All right. Let's go to the A's. Let's go to stats. And we'll go to pitching. And where's saves? There we go. Mason Miller. Okay. 25 years old. He has a 1.1 ERA. When was his last save? Can you guys see this, by the way? Had a save. He actually went 2 innings against the Texas Rangers and had 4 strikeouts. He pitched against the Pirates on May 1st. He had 1 strikeout then. Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, I would like to do that. I have to watch him. Obviously, the eye test is really important too. But if we're just basing it off of stats, sure. Why not? And if he's in the Oakland Athletics organization, you know, you're giving up Mick Abel. You're giving up. Like, I am sending Mick Abel. I am sending Aiden Miller. I am sending whatever prospects they want for this guy because I'm in a win-now mode. Okay, maybe I wouldn't give up too many prospects. If they want Andrew Painter and Mick Abel for this guy, I'm doing it. I don't care what else they want. I'm in a win-now mode. I need this team to produce and go to the World Series now. And if he's performing at a high level and he can still do that throughout the season, yes, I want Mason Miller. I would like Class A. I want those guys. So that's what I want. A's are selling. Well, that'd be great. That'd be great. That would be so awesome if we got him. What else? You guys want to look at another reliever? We can look and see what Class A is doing this year. I don't think that he's available, but that's a dream scenario. If Class A is available, I'd say I wouldn't say give up the farm for him, but I'd say give up a lot for that guy. So that'd be great. Class A. Class A has a .44 ERA. 11 saves. He's just good, bro. It's just so good. Look at that. 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. He has not allowed a hit in his last 5 games. That's ridiculous. Last time he allowed a hit was on April 28th. And that's when they lost to the Braves in extras. That was the ghost runner, bro. I want Class A so badly. But the Guardians won't give him up, and if they do, they're going to ask for a very steep price. The Phillies have the assets, but you can't give up too much. But he deserves a lot. The other guy I wanted to look at, too, is David Bednar. David Bednar. Let's look at David Bednar for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Because I think that he would be a good one. Whoops, I did not mean to do that at all. All right, let's do David Bednar. And again, come on to the Discord server. Shibby, you've been so active in the chat. I'm sure you have thoughts, man. Come on over if you can. If you can't, I understand. I do understand. It's 5:47 p.m. Eastern time. What else? Yeah, David Bednar. That was the last one. He has 8 saves. He has an 8.44 ERA. I know that he had a bad outing. Couple of bad outings early on in the year, but I think that he's doing a lot better. I think that he's done a much better job. I know that he had 2 bad outings in a row against the Giants, but I think that he might be another good piece in the bullpen for the Phils. I wouldn't mind trading for him either. Brave you to assume I have thoughts and functional brain cells, says Shibby. Okay. I don't know what's going on in the chat. I don't know what's going on, but all right. David Bednar is another guy that I would go for. All right. So overall, my thoughts are I'm really proud that this team was able to come out victorious again. They didn't deserve to win last night, and yet they pulled it out. They did. Diaz choked, and the Phillies took advantage. So great stuff. In the future, if you do want to come onto the Discord server, really, it's a lot of fun. I know that I'm trying to push you guys to come on more. It really is fun. Like it's like calling into a radio show. Like I'm giving you guys a platform to come on and give your thoughts, and I'm really hoping that we can try to grow that because that means a lot to me. Community means a lot to me, and I really want to, get you guys a chance to come on. I understand though if people are shy, I get that, but I want to give you an opportunity to give yourself a platform. So, all right. I'm gonna wrap things up here, though. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. I'll catch you all tomorrow night. Let's go Phils, man! Congratulations to them. 30 wins in 43 games. That's a great feat for sure. Great job by Nola. Shout out to him. Shout out to Rob Thompson. Shout out to Bryson Stott. Shout out to Edmundo Sosa, Brandon Marsh, and the bullpen for stepping in. All right? And Garrett Stubbs, too. Catch you on the next one. Good night. Lila Tov.